Emergency service personnel and members of the community gathered in Port Robinson earlier this week for a headstone rededication ceremony for Constable Charles Richards. Richards was believed to be the third Canadian police officer to be killed on duty when he was slain on October 2nd, 1854.
It was the early part of digging the canal, and this gentleman was a part-time law enforcement officer who was called upon when needed. In this particular case, he was called upon to arrest an individual by the name of Townsend for a robbery which happened outside the area. He was summoned by a farmer and pointed out to a local hotel, the Jordan Hotel, which existed at the time in Port Robinson, and he went to arrest the individual. During that arrest procedure, Townsend pulled a gun and shot Richards in the head.
Jean Lauro created a replica of the original headstone that will eventually make its way to the new NRPS headquarters.
When they brought the tombstone, and it was on a Friday at 11 a.m., and they told me they needed it back by the next Wednesday. So that's just 3 or 4 days. I thought, well, I'd have to pull a rabbit out of the hat to do this one. So.
And how would you describe the condition of the original tombstone?
Well, it was dark. I think they put some powder on so that they could read it for this picture. But it was very dark and very weathered.
The village of Port Robinson was more than pleased to put out the welcome for those on hand.
First off, you know, I trust you can see how important this building is to this community, and for events like this and Remembrance Day and many other events throughout the year. But I'm just proud certainly to be the fire chief for the city of Thorold, and to participate in this rededication.
The folks in the community here are very pleased with what's happening here today. It's quite an honor to have one of our own, Charles Richards, who was a resident here in Port Robinson when he was killed. Interesting enough, he was a hotel owner, and the research shows, and this is the police research showing that to receive your license to run a tavern, you had to be the constable.
Nancy, why did your group feel the need to do this?
Our group is a community activist group here in Port Robinson, and our mandate is to be somewhat of a political voice as well as the voice for our community. We promote events, we promote local businesses, and so this is a huge historical event for our community, and we just felt it was really important to be a big part of today, along with the Niagara Regional Police Association, the Niagara Regional Police, NTEC, and of course the Port Robinson firefighters here at Station 3.
After breakfast, the procession made its way to the St. Paul's Anglican Church Cemetery. Along the way, they passed the former site of the Jordan Hotel, where Constable Richards was killed.
This event actually still to this day is an unsolved crime because Townsend was never convicted of the murder. I was contacted by retired Staff Sergeant Dave Brown from the OPP, who is the historical officer for the Ontario Police Memorial. He brought to our attention the name of this individual who had not ever been recognized in the Niagara area. We done some research with this here. Several members of the police force, both sworn officers and civilian members, done some research, and today research is a lot easier with the internet and various sources, and we determined where he lived here, where he was killed, and some of the events surrounding that.
Later this week, Constable Richards will be recognized in Ottawa, where his name will be officially added to the Canadian Police Memorial. In Niagara, you're watching The Source.